This is my review of the HJC RPHA 11. These graphics are the Iannone graphics, so that's a replica of his race lid that he wears in MotoGP. I don't follow MotoGP at all, so I don't know a lot about the chap. If you do, then presumably you might like the association or dislike it if you don't like him. I just bought it because I quite like the graphics. I think they're quite interesting. So I've had it a day now and I've ridden about 100 miles in it, so I thought I'd just put up a quick review about this helmet. So I bought it from eBay from a Honda outlet, so like a proper shop for £240, which I thought was quite good considering it's made of all carbon. So it is HJC's top of the line race lid, fully carbon. It's got the weight there, 1300 grams. I did actually weigh this on my scales, and I'll splice an image in now to see how much it actually comes up, because I can't remember if it's on the money or not, but it's a light lid, and that's kind of part of the reason that I bought it, was that it was so light. The other reason was because of the profile. It's quite narrow. I hate it when you have to wear, or when you wear it. This is a large. Sometimes when you wear a helmet, it's huge and you end up with a big bobble head. But I bought this because it's got a nice slim profile, a bit like an ayer, I suppose, and it's kind of flat on top as well. So I'm going to compare it in a second to my old lid, which is the IS-17. It's my original HJC, which is a kind of budget polycarbonate helmet that I had, but I'm just going to talk about it on its own very briefly. So the first thing that I noticed, it's a hot day today, these vents here, which are really easy to operate with a glove, which is good. You just roll them forward or roll them back. You can do it with your hand. The venting's amazing, so it's like being in a wind tunnel. So it really cools your head. There's a little one here, a bit harder to operate, and you sort of forget which way is open and which way is shut. But that's fine. On the front here, pretty standard. There's kind of open vent there and a shut one, but these things here are actually operated by a little switch on the, I don't know if you can see that, on the inside. So it's a bit of a weird location for it, but it's not too bad. I actually did manage to do that with my gloves on today. So yeah, all the vents work really well, and it really is like a wind tunnel there, which is good. I guess it probably comes out the back. Yeah, I guess it comes out the back. I don't know for sure. It's got this spoiler, so yeah, it's a kind of really racy profile. It's got this cutaway here, which is supposed to make shoulder checks a bit easier. Don't know if that's necessarily the case, but it's very comfortable. This is a large. My old HJC, which I will now compare it to briefly, is also a large. So I guess if you're a large in HJC, you're probably a large in both. So as you can see, it looks just a lot sportier. I mean, this here has got the drop-down visor. So let's show you there. Again, don't know if you can see that exactly, but yeah, it's got the drop-down visor. It's actually the springs kind of stopped working, so I think the new mechanisms have like a cable thing, whereas this is a bit clunky. But that's obviously quite a cool feature if you're running a clear visor, and then you run into some sun, you can drop the visor down, which is quite nice. So this is kind of perhaps more of a sports touring lid. This one has no drop-down visor at all. This is a dark smoke, so race legal only aftermarket visor that I bought. This is actually the light smoke, so it looks okay. You can still see through it. It's road legal. This is what came with the helmet in the box, along with a clear visor as well, and also one pin lock. So I'm trying to work out if I'm going to put that on this, which is the one I probably use a lot of the time, or on the clear one. I'm also considering a darker visor, but I don't know, the light smoke's quite cool. You can still ride at night with it, and it's still road legal, so I might stick with that for a bit. So just to compare the two quickly, I mean, I bought this for looks more than anything. This is a perfectly good lid. It was about 115 quid. I bought it about 5 years ago, and it really does the job just fine, to be honest. In fact, I'm quite relatively impressed with it compared to my other helmet that I had between these two. So this is my first, and then I bought a Bell Race Star carbon lid, and I'll put a picture of that in here a second. And the Race Star looked gorgeous, but it was absolutely massive and actually weighed more than this. Now this is made of polycarbonate, and the Race Star is made entirely of carbon fibre, so you really would expect it to weigh less, but it weighed more just because it was such a huge profile. And like I say, I'll put an image in there so you can see. So I sold the Bell mainly because it doesn't take a comms unit. Well, in addition to the size, it doesn't take a comms unit at all. because it's such a racing orientated helmet, you can't even cut away the EPS foam in the sides to install one. So this has the cutaways kind of already in here. So even though this is a race helmet without the drop down visor, it's definitely a race helmet, but it does take a comms unit, which is essential for me. I started using one. This takes one as well, but then I bought the bell. Doesn't take it, and I started using the comms. So I sold the bell, and now I'm into this. So yeah, generally just kind of really pleased with it. It's noise-wise, it's kind of the same as all helmets. I don't really find any of them to be louder or quieter than others, to be honest. But it's very comfortable. It looks fantastic in my opinion. It's got the ACU gold sticker, so you can race with it, which is good. I don't think it gets very good sharp crash reviews. I think it's only like 2-star, which is kind of nuts really. But I mean, it's HJC's premium helmet. This has 5-star sharp. You can put as much value on those ratings as you like, but I'm happy enough with it. So it's a good brand. What else is there to say about this? Not really. It's got this slightly odd latch, but it's designed so that I think if you come off, it's like a double safety feature, but it just works when you've got your gloves on. This is a weird little button. It just works. You don't need to worry about it. It just opens and shuts fine. It's got multi-positions, which is nice. Actually, that's another thing the Bell Raystar didn't have. It didn't have multi-position visor, and it's just useful when you've got a bit of fog coming in to be able to open it a bit more. And this had it. And to be honest, 115 quid, 240. The new colours of these. So like this is the last season MotoGP Iannone replica. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, by the way. Like I said, I don't follow it, but the new one, it's about 450 quid. So obviously it is a lot of money. Not compared to polycarbonate, showy mind, but this for 240, and there's still plenty of these going in loads of different colours on eBay and kind of proper sites as it were. So I think it's an absolute bargain considering it's polycarbonate. It's a top of the line racing lid. It looks excellent. Just really happy with it generally. No criticism so far. Like I said, I've only owned it for a day, and it's got the EQRS emergency quick release things that you just pull down if you have a crash. That's pretty standard nowadays. Double D-lock fastening again, pretty standard. Nice plush interior. It's got a sort of, I don't know what it looks like, Louis Vuitton. Well, it's obviously not, but it's that kind of print, give a bit of luxury feel, I think. I guess that's perhaps with events. I haven't taken the time to look over this thing fully yet, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Really happy with it. And yeah, I personally recommend it. Some people say you've got like an arrow head or an arrow head or a showy head. I seem to be quite lucky in that my head tends to fit all helmets, which is weird. But this fits fine. My bell fit is fine, to be honest. This fits fine. So yeah, pretty happy with it so far. It's got tear-off posts for racing. Yeah, absolutely essential, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to talk about really. It's comfortable and just well happy with it really. So yeah, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.